Hey guys, over the last few days, I pretty much spent all my time completely rebuilding the second pizza car, and it's pretty much finished as I'm about to show you. But I haven't had a lot of time for other things like grooming. But in the nick of time, Dollar Shave Club just dropped off their daily essentials starter set, so I'm gonna take care of that while you're watching this video. I've been a big fan of Dollar Shave Club for a pretty long time. I could never stand going to the store and overpaying for expensive razors. I feel like I just left the Audi parts department at my local dealership and paid retail for a part, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a video coming up here. But Dollar Shave Club has always provided me a great shave and a great product for a really great price. And what's really cool is I just found out that Dollar Shave Club offers way more than just razors. They have things like body wash, toothpaste, hair product, everything you need for your daily grooming routine. And if you use the link in the description box below, Dollar Shave Club is basically giving away their daily essential starter set. In your first box, you'll receive their shave butter, body wash, and One Wipe Charlie's butt wipes. You'll also receive their executive razor, which includes their premium weighty handle and a full cassette of cartridges. After the first box, replacement cartridges are sent for only a few bucks a month. The $5 offer is available at dollarshaveclub.com/samcrack. That's dollarshaveclub.com/samcrack, and of course, I'll leave a link in the description box below. Huge thanks to Dollar Shave Club for sponsoring this video. It's guys like them that make builds like this possible. I'm gonna get to shaving. You guys enjoy the video. Hey guys, I'm Sam Crack, and I'm really excited because today we're finally going to take care of the second pizza car. Now you guys might remember that I bought this car for only $825 from a Copart auction in Detroit, Michigan, and it came with undercarriage damage, which primarily affected the front passenger corner suspension. There is a little bit of body damage, the front bumper and the front passenger fender, and in the interior, a couple of the curtain airbags deployed. We're gonna take care of all that in this one video. It's actually pretty straightforward, and since I rebuilt this car completely from a really nasty front end collision, I know my way around a pizza car fairly decent at this point. And the nice thing is I still have the donor car, which I spent only $1,500 for and used a ton of parts off of it to save a lot of money rebuilding this car, and I'll be able to use a ton of parts off of it again to rebuild this car. So let's dive right into this rebuild by starting with that front corner suspension. It's going to be really tough to see this, but the broken axle shaft is right there. The rest of the axle shaft is still in the transmission housing. So I got my bucket here to catch any fluids, and I'm just going to go without getting underneath the car too much. I got a jack here. There's two jack stands. One of them is not solid. The other one's good on the other side, it looks like. So we've got a lot of support. I've also got a spotter behind me this way. So in case I see the car shifting, I've also rocked on the car. And I'm going to try and do this without really getting underneath the car that much. So I got this long pry bar. Oh, there it goes. It moved. All right, it's going to come out now. And we should see fluid come out a little bit when I reach in there. Pull it out. There it comes. See the fluid? See our piece? It completely just broke. There's where all the axle grease is. I mean, this is bad. So in a couple hours, I pulled this entire assembly from the same corner on the donor car, and in about another hour, I pulled the entire corner out of this car with the exception of the tie rod there. That's a little bit more difficult. We really need to get underneath the car. The tie rod does look like it has a little bit of an arch to it, so I think it was damaged in the accident. We've got another one of those from the donor car over there, and we're gonna get it. So everything here on the floor, I took it out in pieces because, as you can see, a lot of it was broken. Here, this is completely bent. This shock or strut, who knows whether it's blown. Since we've got a replacement, we might as well use it. This is what was disastrous. This control arm completely bent. And the brake shroud here, it's not a big deal, but it's all damaged. And this brake rotor is pretty nasty and rusty. You know, you really start to appreciate Florida cars when you take apart an up north car like this. It was a little bit more difficult, a little bit more rusty, but only 20,000 miles, so nothing that wasn't too hard. So the only new part I've really bought for this build is this axle shaft right here. We're gonna throw that in right now. The reason I bought it is because we had to use the axle shaft off the donor car for the first pizza car. So I don't have another spare one of these. This was like a $60 third-party part, which is really nice because an OEM one was a couple $100. You see, this car must have hit something, and it must have sent a good amount of force to the car, setting off some airbag sensors. So what we're gonna wanna do first is drop the headliner. That will give us access to get these airbags out of the car. Now, I will have the backup parts from the donor car, but right now I'm not quite sure what the purpose of this car is gonna be. So we'll take these out so they're not, unsightly and blocking the vision of anybody driving it, but this car isn't really registered for the road, and like I said, might have different plans a little later in time. The only other thing we have to do, once we get that headliner dropped and we get those curtain airbags out, is take care of right here our locked up seatbelts. As I've shown you guys before, and as you saw in the last car, the seatbelts lock up in an accident. Even though I took the ones out of that car right there, replacing them with the ones from that car right there. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. Right here in this box is a completely rebuilt set of Chevy Spark seatbelts. This box was shipped to me by the guys over at myairbags.com. Well, actually, I sent them these seatbelts. These are the original seatbelts out of the original pizza car. They locked up in an accident. These seatbelt assemblies are very expensive if you have to buy them from the dealership. The funny thing is, most body shops and repair professionals don't even know that guys that repair seatbelts like myairbags.com exist. They tell you, well, you got to spend thousands of dollars on a brand new set of seatbelts, and it's simply not true. You see, to get these rebuilt, it was less than $100 a piece, whereas at the dealership, these seatbelts can cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars for an assembly, saving you literally hundreds, if not over $1,000, like it did on my Audi S3. So if you guys are rebuilding a car and your seatbelts lock up like mine did on both pizza cars, make sure you head over to myairbags.com, give them a look, and send them your seatbelts to be rebuilt. They also clear airbag modules if you need that done as well. here it is. And while it's not 100% and could use a major cleaning, all of the major issues with this car have been repaired. This car is like a blank canvas, and I left a lot of things on it open because when we revisit it in the future, I feel like we could do something super fun and super creative with it. Now maybe you like the idea of wrapping this car in my favorite sports team logo, or maybe you have a completely different idea, and if you do, let me know in the comments section below. We're going to revisit this car, like I said, in the future because I recently purchased 2 new rebuild projects, and we'll get to those, but we have to finish the Corvette rebuild first. Guys, if you enjoyed watching the rebuild of this car, be sure to hit that like button, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below as well. Thanks a whole lot for watching, and I'll catch you very soon.